Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Welcome back to a brand new year of the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Bristol Flyers Podcast. How are you, Jolie?
I'm great. How are you, Sam?
Very well, thank you. How was your Christmas and your new yaya?
Yeah, it was good. We are in 2025.
Officially into... Oh my gosh, it feels weird that, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are starting the podcast as we mean to go on this year. Back on all major podcast providers, back to weekly episodes. We took a 2-week break.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't mind that, Joel. We had a lot going on. We had some family time to see to, and a few turkeys and beveraginos to consume.
Yeah, producer Dan is back with us, pushing the buttons as always. Dan, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How was your Christmas?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. We hosted.
Was there any family drama? I want to hear about any, arguments or that sort of thing.
No family drama, but we did play the Traitors board game.
Oh my goodness!
Did it get intense?
It got really good. Ella's mum was
the traitor.
Are you watching the Traitors this year, by the way?
Yes.
We didn't watch last night.
Whoa. Right, this is a podcast where we do not reveal any spoilers
No.
for the listeners.
Okay, but I didn't watch last night.
I have not watched this week's episodes, so I'm 3 episodes behind.
Okay, but
for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have to watch.
I'm not going to say anything. I will say, have you watched any of it?
Yeah, I've watched the first bunch.
I think there is only one good traitor, though.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But we cannot talk about that because this is the basketball podcast.
Yes.
And we are not talking about or spoiling any reality TV shows for our lovely listeners.
Yeah, fine.
But we've got some exciting plans for you for the new year. It is 2025. Everyone's setting their New Year's resolutions, their goals, their targets for the upcoming year. How do you feel about New Year's, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I quite like New Year. I quite like resolutions. We actually recording this after the main bulk of it, and Evan talks about not liking resolutions, but I quite like him, Joel.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of New Year's resolutions.
You got any?
Setting goals and targets for the upcoming year. Got a few goals and targets. 2025, mate. I've got a feeling it's going to be our year.
The year of the Bristol Flyers.
The year of the Bristol Flyers.
So we've obviously got the trophy coming up. Some silverware would be tasty as a little. Is that one of your resolutions? Get some silverware?
Yeah, win a trophy. That's got to be number one, top one. Win our first ever top flight piece of silverware. 20th anniversary season. That'd be an epic story if we can finish the story, as some would say.
What about some personal goals, Joel? You got any for yourself?
Yeah, I've got a few personal goals. I think I'll share them on the podcast, but a few personal goals out there as well.
Nice.
But yeah, as you say, Trophy Final in January. We've got some big podcast plans as well. The podcast is going to Estonia straight after the Trophy Final. You been to Estonia before?
I have. No, I met a band from Estonia in Norway, and they.
No way.
No way. This is a weird story. And they came runners up in becoming the Estonian band that was going to be on what's it called? Eurovision. Runners up.
Wow,
though. They never
really?
actually made it. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Claim to fame.
There's not claim to fame. That is my one link to Estonia, and they're a lovely bunch of people.
Yeah. So
You ever been to Estonia?
No, I've not. So I'm excited to take the podcast there. That'd be really good. So we've got the podcast going to Estonia. Also, it's going to be a big year for Bristol Flyers. Not only because we've got the Trophy Final and the podcast going to Estonia, but work is going to be starting on the new sporting quarter right here at Ashton Gate in this year. I can say
Do we
now.
know when, roughly?
It's going to be like in the off season,
Fine.
probably towards the back end of the off season.
As in the football off season.
As in, like, they will start like in the summer, the back end of the summer.
Yeah.
They will probably start clearing the site.
I'm
That's
here for
the
it.
work starting. So they've got to demolish loads of buildings, haven't they? So you won't see anything happening. Oh, you'll see buildings come down, but you won't see anything going up until.
And then
maybe
obviously
next year.
what happens is the buildings come down, but then there's a lot of they'll do a lot of stuff you won't see. So a lot of the groundwork will have to be done and whatnot. And then it'll go up pretty quickly after that, won't it?
Yeah, it'd be great. I'm really looking forward to, getting that up and running, and imagine just having basketball right here on our doorstep in BS3. It'd be great. And also 2025 is the year to grow our Bristol Flyers podcast community. So if you are enjoying the show, please give us a rating and a review via your usual podcast provider. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. So it really helps us boost our numbers. And please recommend the show to a friend. If you've got a friend that is new to Flyers basketball and wants to learn more about our sporting stars, we have a weekly magazine show. It's called the Bristol Flyers Podcast. We would love you to recommend it to a friend and help us grow our little podcast community. Welcome them into the Flyers family.
You could even recommend it to an enemy. We don't mind, do we, Joel?
Yeah, I'm happy either way.
Yeah.
Coming up on this week's show, we are starting the new year out strong with a guest in the studio from our roster for 24-25 season. We've got our very own GB International, Evan Walshe, in the house. Great chat this, Sam. We've actually already recorded the chat earlier, and it's a good mixture of insight and nonsense, I feel.
And that's got us written all over, actually, yeah. Insight and nonsense.
That's why I should add the description on the podcast. The Bristol Flyers Podcast brings you weekly insight and nonsense from the Bristol
I don't mind that. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's good. We talk about New Year's goals and resolutions. We talk about GB a little bit. Talk about the upcoming Trophy Final. So without further ado, here is this week's interview with our very own Bristol Flyer and GB International, Evan Walshe.
You're listening to the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Hi, welcome back to the Bristol Flyers Podcast, powered by Matchday Live, where we are very pleased to be joined by our first guest of 2025. And we've brought out the big dogs for this one because we've got our very own GB International, Evan Walshe, in the house.
How are you doing, fellas? Everyone okay?
Yeah, we're all good. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, it's great to be here.
It's
Wow.
so-
Under the bright lights.
It's only been, 4 months now? So we finally got you on.
Yeah, whirlwind of 4 months to be there.
It has
I'm glad
been.
I caught a breath to come down here.
We've been treating you mean, keeping you keen, mate. We've been wanting you to, want to come on the podcast, keeping you hungry for
Yeah,
it.
really salivating at the mouth right
That's
now.
it.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Everyone wants to get on the podcast. It's the number one reason why everyone signs to Bristol Flyers.
That's it.
No, we appreciate you coming down and chopping it up with us. We're recording this on a Friday, which is the day before game day. Talk to us real briefly before we get it underway. How was your Christmas? Did you have a good Christmas period?
Yeah, Christmas was good. Busy. I mean, like all the other periods have been. Especially being in this industry, everybody knows the Christmas period is always a weird one. That it's Christmas and everyone knows it's Christmas, but you're very much in season mode. There's a lot of important games around the Christmas period. So I got a couple of days with my family, which was great. And then we had some games either side of Christmas, which made it busy. But in comparison to my last Christmas, it was a breeze. It was a breeze.
What day do you go back to training after Christmas Day?
20. So we played on the 27th this year. So 26th was back in the office.
Straight in, Boxing
Crazy,
Day.
isn't it?
Yeah. What was the training like on Boxing Day? Was it pretty? Because obviously, what Christmas is like, everyone has their food and enjoys themselves a little bit, but then straight back into practice. Is it always like almost your first day of pre-season again, sort of vibes?
I mean, we had a game not too long before Christmas, which was nice. I'm sure if there was a bigger gap, it would be a bit different. But yeah, I mean, just trying to get back into the rhythm and understand that there's a game in front of us in 24 hours time. So just making sure that everyone was as ready as you can be for that environment. So
And it was quite a friendly schedule over Christmas. I mean, we've had like New Year's Day games. We've had like in the past, like in Surrey, for example, and they've been like really tough for us. But I mean, we had one on the 27th, and then one just this past Sunday, and that was essentially a Christmas period there.
Yeah,
So,
like I just alluded to, my season schedule for last Christmas was insane. I think we had about 5 games over 9 days.
What? Really?
So if you can check the schedule, when I was playing for Giants last year, we played on Boxing Day at 2 p.m. in Caledonia.
wow. So what happened? Did you fly out
Sorry,
on
what?
Christmas Day? You must have gone the day before,
I
right?
was at home, so my family home was in just outside of London, and then I took a plane that morning, early, like 26th. So I woke up and then just went straight to the airport, straight to the game.
But
And then it was like, so it was 26th, then it was 28th, then it was 30th, and then we played on like the 2nd or something. It was
Oh my
insane. It
And
was
you
insane.
you weren't then obviously able to. You had to do all your tape and all the rest of it like before Christmas, and then
tape.
It's like, we don't tape in Manchester Giants.
Guys, I won't allude to how much really went on in our season last season, but yeah, we tried our best. We absolutely did our best. That's for sure. Anyone that was a teammate of mine last year, I hope you guys are really enjoying this season. I really hope you do, because I am more than last year.
I was going to say, because, like, obviously you made that transition for Flyers. I'm going to get onto it later on, but I was going to ask you about sort of some of the biggest differences you've seen on the court, off the court, between like your Giants spell or maybe some previous spells you've had throughout British basketball and then your time in Bristol. Are you noticing a lot of differences with the way the clubs run, the way you travel, the sort of the things on the court and off the court since joining the Flyers?
Yeah, I mean, I think from franchise to franchise, there's a lot of differences in terms of how people run their stuff. And in the last like 3, 4, 5 seasons, it's been very different from the start to now. I think there's a lot more expectation from players and from franchises that you provide a bit more, and a bit more things are sort of looked after, and whether that be travel or food or just different things that the clubs can sort of help us out as the athletes. So I would say it's super different from one club to the next. Bristol have been excellent. I think the structure of the club here is great. Anytime anybody's asked me how things have been going, I said, all the sports staff are excellent, and the club have done a really good job of making guys that feel at home when this isn't really their home. I have the privilege of playing at home. I mean, this is 2 hours away from where I grew up. But for guys that have come to this country for the first time and experiencing being away and all those sorts of things that can be difficult to sort of deal with maybe in your first year, Bristol do an excellent job of trying to ease that transition and do a couple of things that really might be not in someone's mind, but really helps when it comes to delivering on the court. So
yeah, I can imagine it'd be really tough, especially for rookies as well. Like a lot of them, it's the first time in the UK, so they have no experience of even being overseas. They have no friends, they have no one they know, and then it's obviously the club's job and the rest of the teammates to help them feel as settled in as possible. And especially like times around Christmas, New Year, holiday season can get really tough for players. Did you all get together over the festive period and do anything with like the American guys to help them, sort of settle in over Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, for the American guys, I think Thanksgiving is really their like big family togetherness sort of do, and I think we got together we had a team meal on Thanksgiving. It was nice to have that as a group. Christmas we were all a little bit spread out. I think like obviously half of us are from here, half of us aren't from here, and I think the people that are from here took that opportunity to spend time with the family. I mean, I love these guys, but we get to see each other every single day, so a little bit of respite here and there isn't the worst thing in the world. So making sure that getting that family time in is really important, and I'm sure those guys did too, maybe virtually. I'm not sure how that works, but I'm hoping everyone got their fix in over the Christmas period where they was able to wind down for a short period of time and then get straight back to it.
Yeah, I know Jared Sherford had a chance to go back home for a bit. I saw on his Instagram story, he surprised his kids. Yeah, he went home to surprise them.
No way.
It was just after Christmas, just after the Leicester game it was, between that and the New Year. So that sort of little period that we had over the New Year, he went back home to surprise them.
So that was like probably 4 days at home or what?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 days I think he got out of it. So yeah, it was great to see.
Nice.
What about New Year's? Did you get a chance to anything special to bring the New Year in?
New Year's, I was actually really privileged. Some of my friends from the States who I went to college with, some of them haven't been able to come out here yet, and two of my closest friends, they came out here. We had a really great New Year's time together. I hadn't seen them in like 3, 4, 5 years now. So to spend the time with them was excellent. They got to one of the guys got to come and see me play in Leicester. He came for the 27th and then stayed for the New Year. So went to Edinburgh. So saw the Scottish the heritage up there. It was really great. So yeah, I had a really nice time. A nice time away from the boys.
That's so good, mate. I love that. That's so nice. Did they have a good time, the guys?
They did. They loved it. I mean, one of them had come and played here before, but the other one had been completely new to the whole foreign scene. So he had stars in his eyes when he was out there seeing all the old architecture and stuff. So it was great. I was going
to say Edinburgh as well, especially. Like, we had some American friends come over a few years ago, and we took them to a friend's house over New Year's, and it was just in Stow-on-the-Wold, which claims to have the oldest pub in Britain. And gone. Any guesses as to what year it would be?
Oh, mate, I wouldn't even have a clue.
What do you reckon?
I have no idea. I thought the oldest pub in Britain was in Nottingham.
Well, I know. I bet everyone claims, right?
Yeah,
but this
true.
particular one is claiming. Dan, you can
Producer Dan's looking
do
at
the
it
research
right
on this. But this one,
I'll look it up.
They said it was from 947, so 947 AD.
Oh, really?
Which is like
Pubs don't open
Did
that
they
early.
even figure out what alcohol was at that point?
they have had alcohol forever, haven't they?
Mead. Was it just mead and
Drinking mead.
yeast water?
But like these guys, like America. How old's America? Like it's not as a developed country. It's what, like 400 years old?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that. So it's crazy.
They love that stuff. I love it when Americans come over for Flyers and they just get baffled by the smallest of things that we just take for granted over here in the UK. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Go on, Dan. You got any info for
It
us?
says here the Porch House is what it's called. The Porch House, originally built in 975.
75. I was out
You're
by a
close.
few years, but that's one in Stow-on-the-Wold.
It's in Stow-on-the-Wold.
Yes, that's good knowledge. There you go.
England's oldest inn.
There we go.
Wow.
You learn something new every day on the Bristol Flyers podcast.
There you go.
What can you say?
Educational.
Exactly. Educational and informative. During the intro, Evan, we were talking about New Year's resolutions, goals for 2025. Are you setting any targets individually as a team for the new year?
not tend to be a New Year's resolution guy. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit just if you want goals, set them and achieve them.
Yeah.
I think for us as well, especially like our year, some people's years maybe look a bit different if we're talking about January to December, but if we're talking about year in terms of our career, you know, the season isn't quite lined up with that. So I think annually, I don't really tend to do goals. Season-wise, I try to set some goals personally, and obviously for the team, that's for us to decide. Obviously, we have goals as a team. But yeah, you know, trying to just improve is a baseline one. You know, just try and climb that ladder as much as you can. Yeah, and I got some specific ones about like statistics and teams and stuff like that. I won't share them because otherwise,
No, that's fine.
I just keep them to myself, and then I can, you know, really internalize that. But
How do you? This is a tough one because statistics are one thing, and that's really good. But like, they're not the only metrics you can judge stuff by, right? Surely you could have, like, I bet, you know, didn't have the easiest year last year as a team in Manchester, but I bet there were certain things you could take away. Like, you played really well last year, so you can take other things away that aren't just how the team does and whatever, right?
yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, if we're talking about last year, one of my things was just making sure that I was the difference. You know, we had a really difficult season, and I think it was plain to see pretty early on that we had quite a dysfunctional setup. And for me, it was just making sure that when I was out there on the court, that people would look at me and say, wow, well, he's really trying to make a difference for the right reason. And I think that's really important, because I think you can kind of sniff out straight away when people are just playing for themselves and just playing for the statistics and this and that. But as we've sort of spoken about as a group recently, there's more to it than that, and your ability to then grow your career and move on and you know, take steps forward in your career isn't always based on what you can put down on the stat sheet. It's definitely what you can do to contribute to winning.
Well, I think you hit some of those goals last year because we absolutely hated you when you came to.
I think a lot of teams hated you last season, mate.
You were a pain in our side, a thorn in our side last year, Evan.
Yeah.
Look, like I said, I just went out there and tried to do my best, and sometimes it worked.
That's what he does. He annoys teams, and we love to see it. I've got a goal. I've got a goal for 2025 that we can manifest right here on the Bristol Flyers podcast.
What is that?
How about
Joel?
an SLB Trophy on January 26th, mate?
That is
wild, isn't it?
It's on the list. It's on the little bit. It's on the 2025 bingo card for me and for the Flyers. We set that out first day. I think we came in and we had a goal as a team, and we're in a position to be one step closer to one of those goals this year. You know, one of them was to get silverware, and on the 26th of January, we've got a really good opportunity to get that done. And the boys are really excited. I'm really excited to be back in the final. You know, I've had that taste of silverware, and you know, it's really memorable. And those are the things that, you know, for a franchise, individually, as a group, they're the things that you really take with you. So I'm hoping that, you know, come the 26th of January, we're walking off that court in Birmingham with the silverware coming back to Bristol.
It's really weird. I feel like it's been really weird, the trophy, because it was so intense at the beginning, and then a large break, and then it was really intense for those two games, literally back to back, weren't they, against Cheshire, and then a little break, and then obviously Newcastle and Leicester had their final, which was quite intense, and then it's another month until we've actually got the final, hasn't it? So,
are you guys? Is this something you're talking about actively right now in the locker room, or are you still very much sort of taking each game as it comes, going into that? What point does that sort of focus, because it must be playing on the back of your mind, right, that game coming up at the end of the month?
Yeah, I mean, for us, our season has been really dynamic. We've had the trophy, we've had the ENBL, we've had league play, and now the cup. We've had one cup game. So I think for us, we've had a lot of mixing in between, especially early on this season. We've gone from competition to competition, not necessarily had a few games in a row of the same sort of competition, which do mean different things, but essentially it's trying to prepare the same way. I think in the back of our minds, everyone knows that the 26th is the most important game on our schedule coming up. You know, we haven't necessarily prepared for it because, like you said, it's every game in front of us, and we really know you need to create some momentum going into that game. So yeah, I think we're really excited for it, and when it is real time to prepare for it, we'll be super locked in. And obviously we have Newcastle coming up in the league, so we've got that little taster of what the event might look like, but you know, that game is going to look completely different to how this regular season game looks like. And like I said, we just have to prepare for each game as it comes, and you know, start generating that momentum, so we feel really good coming in to the final.
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of a dress rehearsal on Saturday, isn't it? Because we've not met Newcastle bar a pre-season game earlier in the year, so this is the first time we're seeing them, and then it's a case of like, how much of your cards do you show in this match going into the you knowing that you've got a final to play in 2 weeks. I can imagine for coach it's a real like head scratcher as to what he does, because you don't want to show too much, because then adjustments get made and then you get found out, and you know what I mean. It's such like a mind game. It's like a mind game within the game between the two coaches as well.
Well, and they obviously know each other really well, don't they?
Of
So
course, on the
through
GB times.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and you do as well.
I'm sure that they're both trying to play their individual chess games against each other, and it's our job just to go out there and on the weekend is to go out there and just get the win. Like I said, for our group, I think creating momentum is really important right now, and making sure that even though we do have that final in the back of our mind, that this game is in front of us, and we really need to pick up the win record in the league. So it's a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Talk us through what it's like playing in these finals, because as you say, you have been in that experience. You were part of that treble-winning team with Leicester. It's such a great day, great atmosphere, and everything on the line, all going into one game. Just what's it like as a player to play in front of crowds like that in those big moments?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I love the atmospheres. I think that's part of one of my favourite things about me doing what I do for my life is literally being able to play in those atmospheres, and with the fans, especially at home, it feels great. So to be in the big arenas and to have the opportunity to shine on the biggest stages, it's exciting. And, it's a bit nerve-wracking too, but that's a part of it. It's really fun to sort of have those pre-game nerves where you're sort of looking around and can't necessarily see the top of the stands, and that's just, it's part of it. And I think every basketball player's dream is to sort of get to be in a scenario like that, and to sort of have the ability to perform at the highest level. So the finals are great. That season was one of my favorite seasons because of those reasons. Winning in those big arenas and having all the fans behind you, and just being at the top of your game is really exciting.
How much would it mean for you to be able to do it? Because you've done it with Leicester, and that was a really deep team, and now I think it's safe to say your role is a lot larger on this Bristol team than maybe your role was for that Leicester programme. Yeah. Like, how much would that mean for you to really help Bristol win their very first top flight title in that game on the 26th?
100%. That is, it's still a part of my my own bingo card. I want to be a key contributor to the success of a franchise, and I've been lucky enough to have a great role here on this team this season, and a lot of trust from coach, growing through some growing pains in terms of what I'm trying to achieve as a player and moving forward. But I mean, for Bristol to be in a situation where there's no silverware being won in the 20th season with I feel like we have a really special group. It's hard to get a group of players that really get on the way we do. So to really be able to give back to the franchise and, again, then further our careers by locking up some silverware would be, a match made in heaven. So I think the guys are really excited to get out there. Personally, I'm itching at it. So I'm really excited to get out there and represent the franchise and really, like I said, try and bring that silverware back here.
Yeah, the storyline's all set, isn't it? I mean, it's like 5 years since the last major final. We fell short. Back there 5 years later. 20th anniversary season. Chance to win the club's first piece of silverware. Everything's written. It's all right there. We just need to get over the line on January 26th.
It's a weird time as well, because it's January the 26th, and then 27th you fly out to Estonia, don't you?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
This is the thing. That's not even in my mind.
Yeah.
The season, we've got these. I know which games are coming up, and I know we got the final, and then after that, it's like, okay, well, let me figure it out after then.
Yeah.
Fly out the next day.
Yeah, literally the next day.
We'll be checking in some extra baggage, I think, with the trophy coming with us, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, that might get flagged, but you never know.
We'll bring it on carry-on.
Man, the next day.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be amazing if we, imagine winning that and then taking it away with us to Estonia for that big celebration with all the sponsors.
We'll have to have a big celebration after the Estonia game instead.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Well, the podcast is coming to the trophy final, and the podcast is coming to Estonia as well. So some big episodes
on the road.
Yeah, exactly. We are taking the podcast on the road, back to back, 2 weeks in a row. It's gonna be good, isn't it, Dan?
I'm looking forward to it.
Producer Dan gets a ticket out.
Well, Dan's
to
not
Birmingham
coming.
at least.
Yeah,
There you
Dan's
go.
coming to Birmingham. Dan's not coming to Estonia, unfortunately.
Wow. I'd really rally for you to be there, man. I think that's
I know, but I'm
cool.
on the Estonian watch list, so
ban list, the banned flying list.
yeah, unfortunately,
That's it.
I'm not allowed in.
What happens in Estonia stays in Estonia.
Yeah. I think Dan's going to try. We've got to try and come up with some plans for that, I think, Dan. I think you're going to give us some tasks or something to do while we're out
Well,
there.
there may be some inspiration from Taskmaster, yes, for the final in Estonia, perhaps. We shall see.
Yeah, watch this space. Evan, we were just talking about the trophy final. Of course, your performances this season and obviously last season with Manchester, you've slowly worked your way into that GB national team like consistently now, both 5v5 and 3x3. Talk us through that journey and how much that means for you to represent your country.
Yeah, so again, we're talking about goals. It was part of my goal for last season was to really achieve that and get selected and sort of just move on in that realm. Super privileged to be able to get that. Not a lot of people get that opportunity and to be able to put the national team jersey on, sing the national anthem before the game is huge. Especially to play those last 2 games in London, which hasn't happened for the national team in a long time. And obviously, like I mentioned, I'm born and raised just outside of the city, so that was a really special moment for me. Family and friends got to come and watch me play for the country. So, yeah, I mean, 5-on-5 is excellent. 3x3, I had an absolute blast. We had a really successful campaign this summer at the Euro Cup. So I'm really excited to see where that side of things go. But yeah, being in that top high-end environment is really exciting and only makes me better as a player, and it's a great experience.
How's Jelani doing? Because we obviously had him here a few years ago. I haven't spoke to him since.
Jelani, what a guy. And the best thing about me and Jelani's relationship is every year we've done GB together, even when we were under 20s and stuff, we were roommates. So
Wow.
we've had a great relationship. We used to play against each other growing up. We were the same age group. We had some good battles back in the day. But yeah, he's doing great. He's out there and playing for Slava Prague right now, tearing it up as he does.
Is he still top?
I think he was leading scorer, was he?
Or leading 3-point percentage or something like that. I don't know what
Something
it was.
like that I saw online.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. The guy's a great player, and obviously I got to speak to him before signing here, and he only had good things to say about the setup that they had down here. So
And he had a season, didn't he?
He did.
Season.
Yeah.
My favourite ever video still from the Flyers ever put out is when he's playing London Lions, and that was when it was the strong London Lions, and he did that like crossover hesitation.
Is that the slow-mo to form OT over Luke Nelson?
the top of Luke Nelson,
Yeah.
and it's like to tie the game up to go to overtime.
That clip could be like an NBA advert where like this floater is put literally just out of reach of him. Like,
Have you seen it? I'll get it out.
And it's like,
I think
a
so.
celebration
I
of a
think so.
slow-mo of him like just going nuts. And
at that point, I think you guys were our like real rivals. So I don't know if I was really
Well,
playing.
we went
focused,
2-3 that year, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think we had the same record. I think it was just one game.
That's right. That's right.
You
Right.
had
The tally.
was it points or was it on? It must have been on head to head. Yeah.
Something like
It
that.
was
Yeah,
head to head. Yeah, it was. You talk about GB setup. Obviously, a lot of Flyers faces in there. You say like Coach Kapoulis, another former Flyer that you've been playing with 3x3, D'Lo.
Yeah, D'Lo. Yeah, he was great. Again, roommate this summer, which furthers that bond. He's a great guy. Yeah, I mean, he was here during the very beginning of the BBL journey for you guys, and yeah, he only had good things to say. But D'Lo's a great guy. He's out there in Iceland right now. I think he's recovering from an injury. I think
That's
he
right.
had surgery on his wrist or something. But yeah, shout out to D'Lo, man.
Yeah,
Hell
well,
of a
we
guy.
had him on the podcast a few weeks back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
before Christmas, to give us a little update and to help us talk through, celebrate 20 years of Bristol Flyers, reminisce on those early days with the club and SGS College as well, the basketball academy. So it's good to see him. It's like a very small community, isn't it? And we see a lot more players from the GB national team that do play domestically in the UK, and there's also a lot of players that are currently playing their trade overseas. And I've asked this question to a bunch of other GB players that we've had on the podcast before. Just in terms of bringing players back to play domestically in the top flight, the fans want to see it. What kind of conditions do you feel that needs to be done with the league domestically to be able to bring these bigger names back, that the rest of the players that are currently playing overseas to then come and play, in the UK?
Yeah, the challenges the top flight of basketball is facing this country has been a bit different year to year. I think in the last few years, with London really taking that big leap forward with the large investment they had previously, really forced a lot of teams to sort of try and catch up. I think my personal view on our league is, for a long time, everyone was really content with having a small bit of a small pie, and for lack of better words, I used to call it like a village mentality. I think everyone was really happy with where they were at, sort of producing what they were doing and sort of just being really happy with where they're at. But the big investment from the previous investors with London, really forced people to like kick up their heels a bit and really try and, compete. And I think that regardless of how that went for London and for our league and all the changes that's brought, that's been huge for us as a league. And then going back to your question about players and having the best domestic players possible playing here is level, and money comes into it. Guys are playing at a high level these days, and this is people's livelihoods, and people have lives and have kids and have different things going on in their lives. So for people to want to play here, it has to make sense. Level is one, and finances is another, and for me personally, I really do value playing at home. Like I said before, family are close, friends can come to games when I'm up and down the country. So for our league to continue to try and draw the best talent back and all the GB players to come back, we have to create an environment that makes sense for them. Having teams playing in European competitions, living situations. We all know that basketball players, normally get put in accommodation by the teams, making sure that makes sense, that there's not, a 27-year-old, 28-year-old man that's got 2 kids and you're sharing a house with 4 other dudes. There's a lot of things that go into it, and I think clubs are really starting to, like I said, kick up their heels and really appreciate the fact that to be able to draw the best talent and to keep the GB guys here, you got to be able to provide that.
Yeah, I'd love to see that in future, and who knows, with the development with Flyers and Bristol Sport, the direction the whole club's going, there's no reason to say why we couldn't keep doing that and bringing 100% GB players, especially with the arena and as the budgets go up and everything. There's no reason why we couldn't bring back a lot more of the national team. I'd love to see them playing. We saw it with like Gabe Olaseni and Tariq Phillip and obviously Luke Nelson and that playing week in, week out. Obviously now they've all gone back to play in Europe, but let's say 5 years down the line, who's to say that the league and some of the clubs have really got to a point where they can compete financially with some of these European teams?
We've just got one issue, I'm afraid.
Go on.
And it's the Minnesota Timberwolves issue. It's bloody cold in England.
It's hard to try and get some of the guys. Hey, some of these guys live in Turkey, all sorts, and you're just like, well, they wake up and I just see a nice little story of them on the beach. I'm just like, wow, I've got to defrost my windscreen this morning. Like, how embarrassing is that?
But you get to play in front of your family, and that's all that matters.
There you go. That's the trade-off. That is the trade-off.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your time in Bristol so far. Just I would say in the top of the show, just over 4 months now, you've sort of been here. Reflections on your time with the Flyers so far? Has it been everything you've expected?
Yeah, it's hard to really know exactly what you're coming into. You can talk to people, ex-guys that have been here and this and that. But no, it's honestly been great. One big factor of every season is your teammates. You can never really account for who you're going to be seeing every single day for the next 8-9 months. And, we've got a great group of guys here this year. Guys from all over, different experiences, but we're really starting to gel as a team, and that makes the travel and just the schedule a lot easier. But also on top of that, the club have been excellent in terms of just general management of guys. When we have a problem, we got Mike there just to sort of text him any hour of the day. He'll get back to you and try his best to sort things out. And everyone has different coaching styles, and coaches. Is excellent on the court, but he's really excellent with dealing with us as human beings. I think it's very easy as a coach and as a player just to have that coach and player relationship where he expects just the player side of you. But I think he really understands the personal side. Like, he really does care about us as people. He understands that if we're level-headed off the court, that on the court will be a lot easier. So coach has been excellent at that. That's one thing I would definitely say. And like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about any of the support staff around here. Everyone's really super personable when you see them around. If you need something, people are always there trying to do the extra mile for you. So it makes you want to, go out there and really do your best for the franchise. So
yeah, we always talk about Flyers family, but like really it is like, I feel as a member of staff, like it is a real family feel. Like we can chat to players, staff, and the fans as well. I mean, the fans, you won't find a group of fans more committed to supporting their team. They've sort of followed this whole club through the lower divisions of Div 3, 2, 1, and now up into the top flight, and now Europe as well. Are you feeling that energy from the fans as well this year in Bristol?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the game day is the most important day for us as a group, and we definitely really feel them at home games. Unfortunately, we've had no home games in December, maybe one at the very beginning. So to come back to Wise tomorrow is going to be a great feeling for us. I know we're all really excited to get back out there on the home court. I think we've definitely felt being away for a while, and yeah, the fans, give us that extra boost when we need it.
Yeah.
Well, it's my birthday tomorrow, Evan, so I need you to get me a win for my birthday. Is that all right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
No
okay,
pressure,
add
mate.
it to the list.
Add that to the pressure
Are
list.
we going to
okay?
talk about what number it is, or is that?
Oh, it's
just-
only 34, mate. I'm an old man now.
That's all right. That's a nice age.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
It's great age. Great age.
Great age. What is it? Soccer AM.
Great age. I haven't watched soccer AM in years.
Love soccer AM.
Is that even still a thing now? I don't think it is.
No, it is.
I
It's
think it
changed
is,
slightly.
but they
I think
changed
they got banned
when
or
it's not
something.
when it's not Max and who was the lady that was doing it, the two hosts. When they changed them, I was like, nah, forget this. It's not the
I
same.
agree.
It was
It's
great.
not the same.
Yeah.
Was Jimmy on it as well at one point? Jimmy Bullard. He used to
he
do stuff
was.
there all the
He
time,
was,
didn't
yeah,
he?
yeah.
I like him.
Jimmy
it was.
Bullard.
I tell you what we need to do. We need to get some sort of basketball hoop in here and recreate some of those like games you see on Soccer AM, like when they do the top bins and all that.
Top bins of it.
Imagine doing that in here
That
on
would
the
have been
court right
good.
now.
That would have been. But you should know what you should do is you set it up on the football field. You just put a basketball out there, and then you go out there and you film. You do your little section, and you go out there and do it. See how many
That's
you
it.
can get in.
You a football fan?
I'm a football fan.
Who do you support?
I'm a Tottenham fan.
Oh, okay.
Big Tottenham fan.
Big win against Liverpool the week 2 days ago.
Yeah, excellent.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, of course.
Did you think it was a red card?
No,
Yeah, of course it was a red card.
no.
What-
Because the first one shouldn't have been a yellow. So then the rest just evened it out.
Okay, but what if you got a foul, right? You're on 3 fouls. You get a foul that isn't a foul.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid foul. The way that you play to get that fifth, like if you know you're going to be a 5th foul next time, you would play differently, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you probably would. I saw something which I honestly I don't know all the rules, but there was something like he fouled him. They had the advantage. Liverpool still had the ball.
Yeah.
Because Andrew was talking about it in his post-match conference. He was saying that the rules state that if the advantage is given and it's not like something
2 foot to the knee or something.
or something like
Yeah.
that. It was something like there's a specific term they used that because they get the ball that there shouldn't have been a yellow.
So if that's the case, I think it's a dumb rule. But if that's the rule, then it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. All I know is we've been struggling and we really needed that win. So
Well, I was lucky enough to go to the 6-3 game at the Tottenham Stadium, and I'm a Liverpool fan, and I got to watch that, and that was exciting. So unlucky, mate.
and it's only half time as well. So
I know.
we still got another whole this 2-leg nonsense. that
Sorry,
we've got
Joel.
going on.
We went away from the pod there, mate.
Oh, you talk about football. I mean, you've been here as well, haven't you? You've been down to watch with Owen.
Yeah.
Owen's a massive
Big
City
O.
fan.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, I feel like Owen's getting all the pride here for the Bristol City fan. I've been here just as many times as he has. Owen's this, Owen's that.
But
The coach is talking to him. It's fine. It's fine. He can have the glory. It's fine.
So he met Liam Manning after off the back of his podcast appearance. He met Liam Manning, who was in
Yeah.
attendance at Flyers home game.
I should have got you over as well, then, right?
We should have.
Look, it's all right. Let O have his time in the sun.
Producer Dan then invited
He might
him.
get burnt.
Producer Dan then invited him to be a guest on Robin's TV. Did you hear about this?
He's made the big time now. That was over the Christmas period, right?
It was. I didn't know, Evan.
Dan,
No one told me.
It's fine.
Did
It's
he do
fine.
it? Did he come on?
Look, he came on.
He was the
great.
star
He
of the
had a really
show.
good time.
I didn't know that. Was it good?
Well, Dan sent me the clip yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch it back yet. So,
Yeah.
but
He had
I hear great
a
things.
great time. He had a great time.
How was he? Did he know anything?
Well, we didn't
What do you
go.
mean, did he know anything? Did he know anything?
He's
didn't go
American. They know
in
nothing
depth.
about soccer.
He,
do they?
he loves football. To be fair,
He
the
does.
first day we met when we were all at Thatcher's, we had a good chat about football, and he was, hey, the Premier League, man, I love it, man. Haaland's my favorite player.
He did say
was like,
he
wow,
was
okay.
a Man City fan.
Yeah,
but,
see, there you go.
But when he goes back, he says, "Remember your roots. I'm going to be a Bristol City fan forever."
Hey, look, I really respect it. Like I said, I'm a big Tottenham fan, but I also, City are now my championship side.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy coming to the games. We really have a good laugh.
For this season, championship side for this season,
Yeah.
they'll be up there.
Look, I've been rooting for them to get into that promotion spot, but we're just consistently just throwing points away. It hurts.
Couple of wins on the trot, and you're like, we're doing it, and then they'll lose a
yeah.
couple.
And then we'll
won't they?
finish 12th.
We were eyeing it up at the
Always
start.
finish
I think we
12th.
were like beating Sheffield United, and then they came and scored 2 goals. And at the time, we were looking at the table, and we were like, if we win this, we're going to be like 5th. Like, we're going to be right there. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, it was sitting at like 11th or whatever it is. So.
Life of a City fan.
Yeah, right. That's what I
Evan.
quickly figured out. I quickly figured that one out.
It is,
so.
yeah. Talk about other like hobbies and interests that you're into. A couple of days ago, we all went down to the Bristol Golf Club, and we did some content because for the new partnership that we've just signed with the Bristol Golf Club, because you are a keen golfer as well.
Yeah, I do love a bit of golf. Very early on when I was little, me and my dad used to go to a driving range, and when it was just, a little son and dad afternoon, we'd go to a driving range, learn how to hit a ball, and then, yeah, kind of, it's a good laugh. I think things like Top Golf and the driving range with all the different, like, little top tracer things that you can sort of do, it makes it really fun. And then to go out on the course and then just shank balls left and right is a lot of fun too. You know how frustrating that can get, but yeah, I do enjoy it, and I think it's it's a good wind down from all the stuff that we have going on, and to be able to go to the Bristol and use the course and use the range is really great.
Yeah.
It's time for British basketball beef.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Sponsored by Cowan's House.
Joel doesn't know about this, actually. This
Yeah,
is
go
my
on.
own beef.
Let's hear it.
So as the person who talks about golf the most and obsessed with it and love it so much, where was my invite to this going to the driving range,
Oh,
Joel?
it was
I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it.
It was a piece of activation for the launch of the new partnership.
Don't care.
And you don't even work here anymore.
Don't care. Don't
Just a
care,
ringer.
mate.
Just a ringer.
Do I not work for the Bristol Flyers anymore, Joel?
He comes in and does the podcast and the home games on the mic, and then he buggers off the rest of the week.
Livid.
The fancy bits. He doesn't stay around for the nitty
That's it.
gritty. He's just here for
That's
the
it. Yeah.
showman work.
I
Glitz and
work
glam.
for our principal partner now, Joel, actually. So, yeah, well, that's a lot of beef going on. So you've got a lot to make up for, okay? So
No,
when we
I-
actually do the...
No, I tell you what though. So to caveat this, as part of the partnership with the Bristol Golf Club, there is a podcast at the Bristol Golf Club on the activation list.
on the actual course, isn't
on
it?
the course.
We're going to be
So,
playing or trying to.
So we need to put our heads together and come up with some concepts and some ideas. However, future podcast episode will be you, me, Evan over there, and maybe Owen as well on the golf course. If I can get enough mics, I got to do the logistics around
Don't worry
all
about that.
stuff.
We'll get us all on the course. It'll be great.
And we'll basically do a round of golf, and we'll just chat and do some more interview stuff. It'd be good.
Bring it on, Owen.
So-
Owen, Evan, and Owen, all of you. I don't care.
So we'll take them all. But yeah, watch this space because we've got some content coming up very soon with the Bristol Golf Club. So yeah, we have some good podcasts lined up for the new year. We've got some golf, we've got some trophy final, we've got Estonia, and we've got a few more players to interview and a couple more 20th anniversary episodes to go.
And we've got to do our bungee jump as well.
And we've got to do our 100th episode. Yeah. Well, the bungee jump might not happen.
No, it's happening. I don't care. I've just said it here now.
That sounds a bit dangerous.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to celebrate 100 episodes of the podcast, which is coming up very soon. And bungee jump is on the list.
What number is this?
This is 91.
Flip it. It's coming up soon, isn't it?
It is coming up very soon. Dan, you've been thinking about some ideas, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, bungee jump. Yeah, bungee jump is the main one, isn't it? So,
Off the bridge, off the little bridge. Can you do that? Is that even,
I believe
that
you
would
can.
be really
I believe,
Bristol.
I believe
I think
you
that's
can.
where you do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Genuine.
So, I mean, imagine
There
the
you go.
intro of the podcast of us doing a bungee jump and then we just come back in here and then do it the rest of the show live. Quite good.
I've done it.
Have you done it?
I've done a bungee jump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When?
I did it ages ago.
Oh.
Before I worked here.
Off the bridge?
It wasn't off a bridge. It was off a cherry picker.
Oh, okay.
I don't wanna
Really
know.
safe.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll
yeah.
tell you, hey, if we can figure out a way of making that happen, we should definitely do it.
I think I'd rather jump out of a plane than do a bungee jump.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I just don't know if I trust the bungee more than the parachute.
I've
That's
done
what I'm saying.
I've done
I
them
don't think I
both,
trust
right?
the-
I've done them both. The scariest one is the bungee jump, but the better one was the jumping out of the plane.
Yeah, my mum did it. She said it was one of the best things she ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, we got.
I definitely want to do it. I just don't know when.
Oh, we got to get back on track with this podcast.
Yeah, we've gone on a tangent.
Evan, it's time for us to get to Wrong Answers Only. We got a feature on the podcast called Wrong Answers Only. We put 30 seconds on the clock. You have to answer as many of our quickfire questions as possible. There's one catch. You have to answer with wrong answers. So, for example, if I say, what sport do you play? You would say...
Tennis.
Brilliant. And that is a correct wrong answer. So that is exactly what we need from you.
Lovely.
Producer Dan, you're going to keep score.
Yep.
The score to beat, I believe, is 11. Is that correct?
I think so. It's definitely double figures.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's something like that. It's just a bit of fun. We just play it for a bit of fun. Here we go.
Here we go.
Right. Evan Walsh, you have 30 seconds on the clock for wrong answers only. Your time starts now. Finish the book title, Harry Potter and the Philosophers.
Basketball.
Who is the head coach of Bristol Flyers?
Rob Paternoster.
What building are you in right now?
SES.
What is the capital of the UK?
Ireland.
What sport do you represent Great Britain in?
Tennis.
Name something you put on toast.
Me.
What noise does a sheep make?
Moo.
Name an orange fruit.
Apple.
What does SLB stand for?
Sunday League. Ballerina.
What time is it right now?
10.
10. That's great. I mean, that was the wrong answer.
The
That
thing
was
is,
great.
we need to take one off because Sunday League ballerinas actually, I know you're part of that as well. So
That's what I do on my day off. How did you know?
That was great. That was really good, wasn't it, Dan?
That was very good. And it was a solid 10.
10.
so close.
I feel like I got to blame the question askers for that.
Well,
I didn't quite get enough off.
Yeah,
I did stutter on a couple though, to be fair, so maybe it's
Hey,
my
we
fault.
tried as fast as we could.
You're right.
But on that note, it's time for us to get to the news.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
Great chat with Evan Walshe, and with a bit of podcast magic, Evan Walshe has disappeared from the studio. Where's he gone?
he had to get to training. That's what's happened.
He did, but we do get him back later for the mailbag. So watch this magic come later.
Can't believe after training he's going to drive all the way back here for
I
the
know,
mailbag.
it's like a
Joe.
little bit of magic. We do all the stuff. We do all of the usual podcasty bits without Evan, so we get more time to speak to the man himself for the interview segment.
Absolutely right.
Right, time for us to get to this week's news, and we've got a lot of news to catch up on over the festive period, because we haven't done a podcast in 2 to 3 weeks. So lots to catch up on. I want to kind of brush over this a little bit, but we should probably talk about the 2 games that took place for Bristol Flyers over the festive period, and it was not a Merry Christmas for the team, because we lost both games.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it, Joel. Let's be honest.
I'll run over them very quickly. Leicester Riders 83, Bristol Flyers 74, and then Caledonia Gladiators 66, Bristol Flyers 58.
That's a low-scoring game.
It was a very low-scoring game. Not ideal. But we do have a chance to bounce back this weekend. It is Saturday? Lose track of what day of the week it is. It's tomorrow.
On my birthday!
Of course. We're recording this game on... we're recording this podcast on a Friday, which means I need to edit this podcast very, very quickly after it's finished before Saturday's game. If you're listening to this podcast after Saturday's game, you'll know the result of Saturday's game. But I don't know the result of Saturday's game because we're recording it before the game's taking place.
Thank you for that information, Joel.
But I do have to say that tickets for the game and our next 2 SLB games are both completely sold out. The Saturday's game against Newcastle, bang, all gone. Also, next week, the 19th of January, is our SLB Cup quarter-final against the Caledonia Gladiators. Chance to get one back on those pesky Glads. That is also sold out. So you can't actually buy a ticket for Flyers in the SLB until February 14th, when London Lions come to the Wise campus.
And that is a very happy, lovely day, the February the 14th, Jolie.
Because it is Valentine's Day.
That's it.
So that's a great date night. So if you've got someone you're seeing, your girlfriend, your partner, your boyfriend, maybe take them to watch a Bristol Flyers game on Valentine's Day. Great date night. Dan, are you going to come date night? Bring the missus?
I'm not here.
Oh.
I'm away that weekend.
Where are you?
In Wales.
Oh, for the Valentine's weekend?
It's not especially, no. It's just a group of friends, but it just happens to be away that weekend.
Wow.
But we'll be in Wales.
Well, enjoy that trip to Wales.
Thank you.
I think we should do something on the podcast which maybe we offer 2 tickets to the Valentine's Day game for someone who reaches out to the podcast who tells us that they are taking someone on a date.
Oh, wow.
And then maybe
or some sort of special love thing.
Yeah. So we love love. We love love stories.
We
on the
love
podcast.
Kevin Love.
So we've got obviously Valentine's Day. We're playing London Lions. If you are planning to take someone special to the game, maybe it's a first date. Maybe you want to pop a question. We've had that before in the Flyers game. Maybe you want to make it official. Maybe you have done something wrong and you want to grovel and make up for it, and the best way to make up for it is to get them Bristol Flyers tickets. Reach out to the podcast. Let us know your name, what the story is. Tell us the story. We'll get you on the podcast, and we'll check in with you after the game to see if the plan went to the plan.
To be fair, every time I do something wrong in my relationship, the first thing I think is Bristol Flyers game.
Exactly. It's the perfect date night for Valentine's Day. It's February 14th. It's Flyers v London Lions, and it's the only SLB game that you can buy right now because both our next 2 games are sold out.
And not only is it Valentine's Day against London Lions, Ovi Soka, who was on Love Island.
Oh, there you go. It's all
And then
coming
Keedy
together.
will dunk on him again.
And we love that.
We do love that. And we love love. So that would be great. But there are tickets, though, by the way. I do have to say about this. There are tickets available still for Dynamo Bucharest, which is next Wednesday. Flyers return to ENBL action Wednesday, January 15th, when the most decorated club in Romania, Dynamo Bucharest, visit the SGS College Arena. You can get your tickets right now at bristolflyers.co.uk. What other news we've got to get to? I've got to talk about SLB Trophy Final tickets. So, obviously, the Flyers are in the SLB Trophy Final. It is on January 26th. I can say that all the lower tier tickets in the Bristol Flyers fan section are now completely sold out. There are limited upper tier tickets left, still available in the Flyers fan section for the game against Newcastle Eagles. January 26th, 3:30 p.m. tip-off, Utilita Arena in Birmingham. Adult tickets in the upper tier are £33. Child tickets in the upper tier are £25. So yeah, last chance for you to get your tickets before that big date. I very much expect that fan section is gonna sell out.
How many tickets we got?
It's around 650.
Oh my gosh, we've done pretty well then to get the lower tier done.
Last year we had. Last time we went there was around 500 that went. I think we're expecting to beat that this year.
Yes.
Let's
go Flyers
We're
fans.
well on track for that. Also, I've got to talk about Bristol Flyers supporters coach tickets. Now, if you want to travel to the SLB Trophy Final and you don't want to park your car in Birmingham, we are putting on a supporters coach. All the details are on the website, bristolflyers.co.uk. The coach is selling very well right now. Right at this moment in time, there are about 10 spaces left you can buy. If we do get more interest, we'll release another bus. So the more you get interest, the more you sign up for these spaces, the more buses we'll bring in. £25 per person includes travel to and from the Utilita Arena in Birmingham. The coach pickup point in Bristol is at the Aviva Centre, which is obviously where fans park on Flyers game days at the SGS College Arena. 9:30 a.m. the coaches will depart. Free parking is available on site for supporters, so you park your car there at the Aviva Centre for free. Hop on a supporters coach with all the other Flyers fans. But I will be there on the supporters coach. I will be doing the podcast segment. You know, we talk about the podcast going to the Utilita Arena.
Yeah.
I will be doing my segment of the podcast on the supporters coach, interviewing some fans to start the day off.
I won't be with you, I'm afraid,
No,
Joel.
you will be documenting your day at the same time that I document my day, and I will piece them together into a lovely little package.
And we'll compare who is the best podcast host, and we'll vote on... No, I'm joking.
And also at the same time, Dan is going to be documenting his day, and it will weave together into some hybrid Bristol Flyers podcast package that tells the story of the Trophy Final.
I'm excited about this, Jolly.
Yeah, so I will be there on the supporters coach. If you're getting supporters coach tickets, come say hello. I'll be interviewing a few of you, maybe get you guys to sing some chants for us. You got any Flyers chants? Maybe some good stories, get some predictions from you, talk about the club, and yeah, we'll be on the bus to Birmingham. And maybe I'll have some giveaways. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, it's intense. There's so much going on.
I know.
Are your giveaways just tinnies?
No, they're not just tinnies.
And when it's on about tinnies, you're on about baked beans, aren't you?
Yeah,
That's what we're...
tinnies and baked beans. Please note, if you're buying a supporters coach ticket, it does not include a ticket for the SLB Trophy Final. That has to be bought separately via the Super League Basketball website. So you buy your coach ticket from the Flyers website, you then buy your SLB final ticket from the SLB website, and then yeah, you can come along with us for the day. On that note, Sam, I think it's time for us to get to the mailbag.
This is the Bristol Flyers Podcast.
And just like that, the podcast magic, Evan Walshe is back with us in the studio to go for the mailbag segment of the podcast. Evan, this is the part of the show where we ask fans to send in their questions to yourself.
Lovely. I'm so excited for this part.
We got a few questions that have come through via Instagram, haven't we, Sam?
There's a really good question from... I don't know if you know this person. His name is Abuka. And he, on Instagram, wants to know, how much did you pay the refs in the Bucks final of 2022? What a game that was, by the way.
I'm not here to make any comments on any referee's decisions for the rest of my life.
Have you been in trouble in the past?
No.
What do you
That's
mean?
not me. I've never done that.
Evan Walshe never gets technical fouls for that.
See? Joel is...
Annoyingly,
a man of-
you don't have to say anything, but that one technical you got in the European game did my nutting because you literally did nothing.
Bamberg,
Yeah.
The fight against Bamberg. Not
Oh.
fight, it wasn't a fight.
No, it was Legia, wasn't it?
Oh,
Was it
no,
Legia?
sorry, Legia, you're
You
right.
did nothing.
Yeah,
It
that
was,
was
yeah.
insane.
That one was so annoying. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the... I can talk about the refs, actually. I can do what I want.
But in answer to your question, Abuka, nothing. You know, we just beat you fair and square. That's what I can say. We didn't blow an 18-point lead that you guys had in the first quarter. So I mean, that's up to you.
Also, they didn't have Mackenzie, who literally turned it on, didn't he? He was unreal.
Shout out to Kimball, man. He was a mid-range sniper. He couldn't miss.
Yeah, he was good. That was your first taste of sort of playing against those guys, right? Like Corey, Abuka.
Yeah, I mean, at the time Corey was on the Flyers. So I think
of course.
we played against them a couple of times. But yeah, and and Malcolm, was it Malcolm?
Malcolm Delpesh.
Delpesh was on that team as well. So yeah, it was a great time, to be fair, and a really good final for us.
Yeah. Cheers for the question, Amuka. I've got a question. This one is from your dad, Brian Walshe.
Hey,
has
lovely.
been in touch. He says, "Have you ever apologised for dunking over your dad?"
Sounds like he's a bit salty about it, to be fair. That's all it sounds like to me.
He's a good guy, your dad. We met him, didn't we? He's so nice.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's great. I love that he's semi-involved with what I do in terms of his job. He works for FIBA, but he's great. Mum and dad are excellent. They're the best parents I could have ever asked for, and he's clearly still salty about getting dunked on. But listen, I can't do it anymore, so this is the problem. So I nearly have to hold on to those small gems.
Yeah.
I had my time above the rim, and I think that's over.
I had a chance to meet parents at the start of the season. They came down to like the pre-season, right at the beginning of the season, and they're regularly coming down, aren't they, to watch you play home and away this season?
Yeah. They like I said, they're honestly excellent. Seeing them at the games give me that extra bit of energy too. So every time they're in the building, you can pretty much count I'm gonna have a good game.
Your dad's funny because you watch it. If you see him on the sideline, he's like stressed the whole time that you're playing.
That's fair. I know my mum's sitting there too, just like probably smacking his leg, being like, "Don't do that." When I get off the court, she's like, "I wish you didn't do that," or this and that. I'm just like, "Sorry."
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. It's great to see. So so precious that they come down and watch you play, especially like you playing at home in front of them as well.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Another one here from Tash Puddy on Instagram wants to know, why do you wear number 77? Does it have a meaning?
Not necessarily. I wanted to wear 7. I wore 7 when I was a junior, and then I went to college, and you couldn't wear 7 in NCAA at the time. I don't know if that's changed now. So I wore 1, and then when I came back, the first team I played for, I was gonna wear 7, and that was taken. But then I was like, I wore 77, and then I wore it, and I was like, oh, this feels good. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna this is gonna be my professional number, and that was it. So not necessarily too much of a meaning, but then I did it, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be my professional number. It's part of my identity now.
And it's not likely to be taken if you go to other teams, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, this sort of links in quite nicely to the next question. How does it feel? Sepus.1 on Instagram. How does it feel to have Luka Doncic steal your haircut?
Wow.
Is this why you wear 77 as well? Because then you've got the whole Luka Doncic.
I don't want to feed into all the nonsense that's been going on behind. I think the first week I was here, I think it was Owen. I think it actually was Owen. Owen was like, "Why are you copying Luka, man?" And I was like, "I'm not copying him. First of all, I'm older than him. First, and then literally like 2 months ago, or whatever, like, the NBA must have posted, Luka's new haircut." And then he was like, I got it sent in the group chat, and they were like, "Wow, Ev, like this is just bad for you now. This just looks bad. Looks like you're really trying to copy him." So I keep getting all this Luka slack, but he copied me. All right, I did it first.
It could be a worse player. He's unreal. So
yeah, that is true.
You both wear number 77. You both play a similar position. You same play style. You got the same haircut. I think there's something you're not telling us here,
European
mate.
accent.
Yeah, there's too many similarities going on right now. I can't escape the allocations.
Yeah. Another question. What have we got here? Last question. I think this one is Honey Badger 12720 on Instagram. Why are you always the one getting put onto the floor?
It's a good question.
Great question, and I love the wording of it. Thank you. That's really, really good. The honest answer is, I used to get hurt a lot because of my play style. Like, I'm quite just a bit fearless, relentless, and quite aggressive. And I used to, go to the basket in the same way that I did. And I used to try and catch myself from falling a lot. And that would cause me to roll my ankle a lot and kind of, that was literally the reason. And then I saw something on so it was some sort of basketball website talking about how you have to learn how to fall. And I was like, what is this? And then literally I was watching it and I was experiencing the same problems. Like, I was literally going to the basket super fast, knocked off pace and trying to catch myself and land. And at that point, obviously, you're up to the elements of where you've been hit and this sort of stuff. So I do actually sometimes fall on purpose. Like, as in, I'd rather fall and slide and pick myself up than try and catch myself on my foot and try and recover myself. So try and fall on purpose sometimes.
You are fouled a lot as well.
Yeah.
There's a skill to that. There's a skill to that, though. It's not just like you are a player that gets fouled a lot. There's a lot of...
No, but the way you play, I mean, you come in
exactly.
such a way where the players are then they're almost like, oh, I've got to catch up with him, and then they're
Yeah.
coming too aggressively and hit into you. That happens a lot.
Yeah, it does, and I know what I'm looking for in those scenarios. Like I've got a good feel of when I know people can't, be in a legal guarding position, and I try and just go for those weak points, and try and get the foul calls when I can. But yeah, it's just a part of that play style, really.
Yeah. Great stuff. Well, I think that's a great place for us to wrap up this week's episode. Put this week's episode on the floor because it's done. The episode's finished. Like that, Sam?
No, I didn't. I didn't like that.
I'm trying to think of a transition.
It was good. I thought it was good.
It was fine.
Well, that's it for our... excuse me. That's it for our first episode of 2025.
Really good episode.
Great episode, guys. It's going to be a great year for us all, and that includes you, the listeners at home, starting with our big old trophy final in January. We've got some great stuff teed up for 2025, so do keep listening to the Bristol Flyers podcast. We'll be listening on all major podcast providers and YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Give us a rating and review on a usual podcast provider. All those podcasty things that podcast hosts tell you to do, please go do them. I was looking at the data the other day, by the way, for our YouTube numbers. 50% of our viewers on YouTube aren't even subscribed to the channel.
What?
I know.
Oh, disappointing.
So if you are watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button right now. It's right here, like down here at the bottom of your screen, right around maybe that there or something, or maybe over there. I don't know exactly where it is, but please click it. It helps us and it helps me. At my end of season review, it helps me do that as well.
Joel will be fired if you don't subscribe, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
His job is in your hands.
Yeah, it is.
Please don't subscribe, everyone, okay?
Please help me keep a job and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you very much. Evan, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us on the podcast. Best of luck for the game tomorrow against Newcastle and our little dress rehearsal for the big final on January 26th. Sam, thanks for joining us as always, taking time out of your new job at Watches of Bath competitions to come in and chat with us as always. And producer Dan, thanks for pushing the buttons as always. You are an absolute legend. And finally, thanks to you at home for listening. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Flyers podcast, powered by Matchday Live. We'll be back next week. But until then, we'll see you later. Goodbye.